The American presidential election is more than just a domestic affair, it's a global event. The leader of the United States doesn't just lead America, they lead the free world. The decisions made in the Oval Office have ripple effects that reach every corner of the globe. From trade agreements to military alliances, the American president's actions shape the world we live in. Think about it. The U.S. military is deployed across the planet. American companies do business in every country. American culture, from movies to music, influences billions. At the heart of all this is the president. This global impact is why the world watches the American election so closely. Every 4 years, all eyes turn to the United States. People want to know who will be the next leader of the free world. They want to know what policies the next president will pursue, and they want to know how those policies will affect their lives. The American presidency is a position of immense power and responsibility. The person who holds that office has the ability to change the world. That's why the election of an American president is so important. It's not just an American issue, it's a global one. The road to the White House is long and expensive. It begins long before Election Day. Potential candidates start testing the waters, gauging public support, and building a team. They need experienced strategists, savvy communicators, and a nationwide network of volunteers. Once a candidate decides to run, they make a formal announcement. This launches their campaign into high gear. Rallies, speeches, and media appearances become the norm. Candidates crisscross the country, trying to convince voters they are the best choice for the job. But running for president takes more than just charisma and good ideas. It takes a lot of money. Campaigns need to pay for staff, travel, advertising, and more. This is where fundraising comes in. Candidates spend countless hours courting donors, holding events, and soliciting contributions. The money raised during a campaign is crucial. It fuels the entire operation. Without it, candidates can't get their message out, mobilize voters, or compete effectively. In the world of American politics, money talks, and in the race for the White House, it shouts. The American presidential election is a multi-stage process. It begins with primaries and caucuses. This is how each political party chooses its nominee for president. Think of it as a competition within a competition. Before facing the other party, candidates have to first win over their own. Primaries are like regular elections. Voters go to the polls and cast their ballots for the candidate they want to represent their party in the general election. These primaries are held in states across the country, starting in January and running through the spring. Caucuses are different. They are more interactive and involve party members gathering in person to discuss the candidates and cast their votes. Iowa is famous for its first-in-the-nation caucus, which often sets the tone for the primary season. Both primaries and caucuses serve the same purpose. They allow voters to have a say in who represents their party in the general election. It's a chance for the American people to narrow down the field and choose the candidates they believe are best suited for the presidency. After months of grueling primaries and caucuses, the race for the White House moves to the national conventions. Each major party, the Democrats and Republicans, holds a convention to formally nominate their presidential candidate. These conventions are highly orchestrated events. There are speeches, celebrations, and a lot of red, white, and blue, but the main purpose is to officially name the party's nominee and rally support behind them. It's also at the convention that the presidential nominee announces their running mate. The vice presidential candidate is chosen to balance the ticket. They might bring experience, regional appeal, or appeal to a specific demographic. The selection of a running mate is a crucial decision. The VP pick can energize the base, attract new voters, and signal the kind of administration the candidate hopes to lead. Together, the presidential and vice presidential nominees form the party's ticket for the general election. Section 5. The General Election, a battle for hearts and minds. With the conventions over, the general election kicks into high gear. This is where the two major party nominees, along with any independent or third-party candidates, face off against each other. It's a battle for the hearts and minds of American voters. The general election campaign is a whirlwind of rallies, debates, and non-stop media coverage. Candidates crisscross the country, delivering speeches, meeting with voters, and trying to convince Americans that they are the best choice for president. One of the key strategies during the general election is focusing on swing states. These are states that are not solidly Democrat or Republican. They could go either way. making them crucial battlegrounds in the fight for the presidency. Candidates tailor their messages to appeal to voters in these swing states. They talk about issues that matter to local communities. They highlight their plans for the economy, healthcare, education, and other key concerns. The goal is to win over enough voters in these swing states to secure victory in the Electoral College. Section 6. The Electoral College winner takes all? The American presidential election is not decided by the popular vote alone. Instead, it's the Electoral College that ultimately determines the winner. This system, established by the Founding Fathers, has been both praised and criticized throughout American history. Here's how it works. Each state is assigned a certain number of electors based on its population. When you vote for president, you are actually voting for a slate of electors who have pledged to support your chosen candidate. In most states, the candidate who wins the popular vote receives all of that state's electoral votes. This is known as the winner-take-all system. The first candidate to reach 270 electoral votes wins the presidency. The Electoral College has been the subject of much debate. Critics argue that it can result in a candidate winning the presidency without winning the popular vote, as happened in 2016. Proponents argue that it protects the interests of smaller states and prevents candidates from focusing solely on large urban areas. Despite the controversy, the Electoral College remains a cornerstone of the American electoral system. It's a complex and often confusing system, but it's important to understand how it works, because it determines the outcome of the presidential election. Section 7. Election Day and beyond, from ballots to inauguration. Election Day is the culmination of months of campaigning, debating, and voting. Americans head to the polls to cast their ballots for president, as well as for other federal, state, and local offices. It's a day of high stakes and even higher hopes. Once the polls close, the counting begins. Election officials across the country work tirelessly to tally the votes and report the results. News organizations provide live coverage, analyzing the numbers and projecting winners. As the results come in, the focus shifts to the electoral map. States begin to turn red or blue, representing the projected winner. The tension mounts as the candidates inch closer to the magic number of 270 electoral votes. The candidate who reaches 270 electoral votes is declared the winner of the presidential election. But the process doesn't end there. The newly elected president and vice president are officially sworn into office on Inauguration Day, January 20th. Inauguration Day is a day of celebration and renewal. The outgoing president peacefully transfers power to the incoming president. It's a testament to the strength and resilience of American democracy. Section 8. America's Choice, the World's Reality. The American presidential election has far-reaching consequences. The decisions made in the Oval Office impact not only the lives of Americans, but also the course of global affairs. From trade deals to military alliances, the American president plays a pivotal role on the world stage. The president's foreign policy agenda shapes America's relationships with other countries. It influences global trade, security, and diplomacy. The president's decisions on issues like climate change, human rights, and international development have a ripple effect across the globe. Moreover, the American president is often seen as a symbol of democracy and freedom. The outcome of the election is closely watched by people around the world who look to the United States for leadership and inspiration. The world is watching, waiting to see what direction the new American president will take. Will they prioritize cooperation or isolationism? Will they champion human rights or turn a blind eye to abuses? The answers to these questions have profound implications for the future of our planet. Section 9. Cracks in the Foundation. Challenges to the system. The American electoral system, though a cornerstone of democracy, is not without its flaws. Over the years, concerns have been raised about voter suppression, the influence of money in politics, and the Electoral College's fairness. Voter suppression tactics, often aimed at minority groups, can disenfranchise citizens and undermine the principle of one person, one vote. Long lines at polling places, strict voter ID laws, and limited early voting opportunities can all create barriers to participation. The influx of money into politics, fueled by campaign finance laws that allow for unlimited spending by corporations and wealthy donors, raises concerns about undue influence. Critics argue that this system gives special interests disproportionate sway over policy decisions. The Electoral College, designed to balance the power of large and small states, has come under fire for its potential to elect a president who did not win the popular vote. This has happened multiple times in American history, most recently in 2016, sparking debate about its continued relevance. These challenges to the American electoral system underscore the need for ongoing reform and vigilance in protecting the integrity of the democratic process. Ensuring fair and equal access to the polls, addressing the influence of money in politics, and revisiting the Electoral College are crucial steps in strengthening the foundation of American democracy. Section 10. Your voice, your vote. The importance of participation. The American presidential election is a testament to the power of the people. It's a reminder that in a democracy, the ultimate source of authority rests with the citizens. Every vote cast, every voice heard, contributes to shaping the future of the nation. Participating in the electoral process is not just a right but a responsibility. It's a chance to make your voice heard on issues that matter. It's an opportunity to hold elected officials accountable and demand that they represent the interests of the people. Whether you're passionate about healthcare, education, the economy, or any other issue, your vote matters. It's your chance to weigh in on the direction of the country and choose the leaders who will shape policy for years to come. So, stay informed, engage in respectful dialogue, and most importantly, exercise your right to vote. The future of American democracy depends on the active participation of its citizens.